Hello and welcome to a quick look of Legend of Grimrock, a dungeon crawler made by a Finnish dev studio called Almost Human. And it is a superb game if you like dungeon crawler games. There hasn't been too many dungeon crawler games in recent years, other than of course Grimrock and the second edition of the Grimrock that came out this year. But in my childhood, and hopefully your childhood as well, there was a multitude of these games. Dungeon, Master, Eye of Beholder series and many others, which were just amazing games during those days. And this game just gives homage to those games. Let's get into the game and I'll show you how it works. So, new game, you can do normal, hard, easy. I've only done normal myself and it was decently challenging and quite fun. So I recommend not going for easy. It's not too bad on normal. You can either let the game create you a team for to play with, or you can do them yourself. The game gives you a pretty good team if you go with just a whatever, and you may screw yourself over with your choices if you create them yourself. Then there is also a old school mode which turns off the auto mapping, so you have to get some paper and pencil and draw the map yourself if you really feel like playing like the old good times. I highly recommend not doing that because the map can be extremely confusing with the teleports and everything, especially later on in the game. Or you're gonna need a lot of time and a lot of redoing on your maps because you get confused and draw some places overlapping with other ones. But anyways, let's show the create characters. Let's apply those. So this is the character creation. So you can have 4 guys in here. You can give them names, and here you can generate also names. So I'm just gonna generate something on those. And you have an option of 4 races: human, minotaur, lizardman, insectoid. Human is, well, pretty average on everything. Minotaurs, surprisingly good fighters, eats a lot of food. Lizardmen are kind of rogue class, well, rogue race more likely. And then you have insectoids, which are good for casting. And the game kind of suggests you to take 2 warriors and a rogue and a mage. So let's go with that. I'm gonna do a minotaur there. You can select the portraits here. You can also import your own, as it says down there. And we're gonna do, let's do a human warrior there. He looks like a nasty warrior guy. Then a lizardman rogue and insectoid mage. So he's a fighter. I'm gonna give him strength. He has quite good vitality. But let's do it like that. He's gonna be a warrior as well. Let's do the same on him. This one is going to be my rogue lizard man, so I'm gonna pump his dex. He doesn't need vitality or strength because he's gonna be in the back row, but vitality is good. Sometimes you may get hit in the back row as well. And a mage. Sorry, did I? Yes. And a mage. And willpower is everything for a mage, and health is always nice as well for a mage. Then we go here. So you have skills here. So these are the skills that are available for fighters. These are the skills for rogues, and these are the wizard skills or mage skills. And you kind of generally want to focus only on 2 at a time, because how the game goes, you just don't have enough levels and skill points to kind of go in the different ones. Also, not knowing what you're gonna get later in the game, kind of, well, it does suck, because you don't know if you're gonna get good access, you're gonna get good mazes, or you're gonna get good swords, unless you have seen and played the game before. This is a bit of spoiler, but go for swords. At least on one of your characters, there is extremely good swords later in the game, but there is also good access and mazes. I did my first playthrough with a minotaur with axes and a rogue with daggers, and it worked pretty well, and 2 mages. So you can do different compositions as well if you want to, but I highly recommend at least 1 sword user. So let's put the sword point there for this minotaur. This one is gonna be used. Actually, let's not do that. Let's go Axes for the Minotaur and... no, actually, let's go Maces for the Minotaur. And Swords for the... Human. As you can see, Minotaur only starts with 1 skill point, and Human starts with 4. So, you can see here what you get from each level. So, 1 point in there doesn't really do anything until you get those level up abilities. It does increase your attack power, accuracy, and chance of performing special attacks, but still, it's minor difference compared to the level up abilities. So, that's that. Armors are also really good, because they reduce the penalty of heavy armors, and you wanna get heavy armors on your warriors. And athletics is also pretty decent. So for the rogue, I went with daggers and assassination last time, because he was and a bit of dodge for survivability. But he was a front row rogue. But this time we are gonna go with throwing weapons or missile weapons, very likely. Let's go with the missile weapons. He's gonna throw stuff around. And there we go. So, missile weapons 3. I didn't use any missile weapons last time. And air, this is the mage. So, you have 4 options: air magic, earth magic, fire magic, ice magic. And then you have spellcraft and staff defense. So, and that's my wife sneezing again. So, staff defense is if you wanna do front rank mage or a bit more protection on the mage. I think it's waste of points. You wanna take at least 5 points in spellcraft, preferably 10 by the end of the game. And you wanna focus on maybe 1 or 2 of these. And ice magic is good, fire magic is good. Well, all of these are really good. I like all the options. In my first playthrough I had 2 mages, so I went with air and earth on one, and fire and ice on the other one, and that worked really well. I would probably next time if I did 2 mages, I would go air and fire on one, and earth and ice on the other one, to kind of mix them around. Let's go for a fire magic this time. I'm gonna go also 1 point in spellcraft. Okay, and then you have traits in here, so you can choose some bonus stats and things for your guys, like the headhunter for minotaurs. For every skull you find in the game, you get bonus attack power. That sounds perfect for a minotaur. And then there is something else we want. How demon ancestor, fire resistance. So he's a pretty angry bull now. Actually, let's see. Plus 3 skill points. Let's make him really skilled with swords to start with. Sword Master Figo. And what else? Some health would be nice. Minotaur starts with a lot of health, but I think our tanky for front rankers should have some health. I also like health on the back row guys, because they are really weak normally, and getting them some extra health to start with is quite nice. Let's see, do we have anything nice for this guy? Let's go with dexterity from agile on that guy. And energy in this game is both your attack, well, like stamina for when you are attacking, and it's also your spell points. So for the mage, I kind of like having extra energy, so he can spam more spells. Let's go with those and start the game. So this is the Mount Grimrock, as you can see. And you are 4 prisoners sent to the top of the mountain. I'm gonna skip this because it's gonna waste time for me explaining things. Basically, the story is that you are 4 prisoners sent on an airship into the Mount Grimrock, which is a prison where you can escape, but you will very likely die in there. So you get kicked into this hole here, and that's the start of your story. So there is a escape at the bottom of the Grimrock, which you need to get to. And here we are. So, first time playing Grimrock. Well, we don't need anything. So you start in here, and you have nothing. You are totally naked. other than your spellcaster here who can use spells. So using a WSD you can move around like this, and you can use Q and E to turn around like this. And the game works. Here is the map, which is tab. As you can see, it's made by these squares, and every move moves into a square. So it's kind of like crit based. As you can see, we move like this. So you cannot do like a move slowly and do that. Also, you face to one direction, and these guys are in the front, so they are in the front here, and these are in the back. And you can get attacked from all sides. Well, or 4 sides. So if someone attacks me from the left side, for example, he will hit one of these guys. When they're in the front, these guys from back, these guys and these guys. So it's quite important to not get flanked or enemies in your back, because it will be bad news. So let's pick up this torch here. There is a choose your fate, perish in this cell, or pick up the torch. So you can pick up the torches from the walls, and you can give them to your guys. Let's give it to the rogue here. So it gives you this light here. You can see the difference. And torches are consumables, so they only have a certain time they last, and you have to be careful picking them up. Also, well, not picking them up, just pick them all up and stockpile them with you, or make a nice area where you stockpile a ton of them to keep them safe. This game also has secrets, and you really wanna focus on watching your surroundings. You can hold the right mouse button to look around, but the secrets are always in these walls. And at first it may be really difficult to see them, and I'll show you a secret that's really here in the start, and you really have to pay attention. So the secret is in this wall, and if you look at this wall, these walls are always pretty identical. Like, you look at the graphics, all the moss down there is the same. So just looking at the walls and running around, you maybe can spot something, and it is there. So this is the secret in this area. So you just click on that, and voila, you have a door opening. There's a nice statue here. You find some lurker boots, which you can give to your guys. This is a rogue item, so it gives you... Actually, it's evasion, so anyone can use that. Let's give it to the Fico for now. And there's also a shuriken, so we can throw around stuff. So you find items on the floor in places, and you can use them. This movement also makes the game a bit tactical with combat. The combat may seem kind of strange and not very good at first. Let me actually look at these walls while I'm running around. Let's get another sword. You are my torch carrier now. So when you can only fight in one direction, and also when it's like movement is like this, it's kind of feels strange at first, but it is surprisingly tactical, especially later in the game when you get spellcasters, ranged enemies, and all kinds of fun stuff. You really have to carefully move around. There's also some enemies that really will wreck you if you don't move away from them. So you cannot just face tank them and keep hitting like this. You on them and just tank them, especially not on harder difficulties. On easy you might be able to do some. There's a mace for our guy. Let's see, how is this? Attack power 12, minus accuracy. Well, you also have a... I didn't mention this yet. So you have food level here. You won't regenerate stamina if you don't have full... I mean stamina and health if you don't have food. So you have to get food as well. So there's a kind of time limit as well on you to get some food. It wasn't too bad most of the time. I had a couple moments there where I would have really needed food, and I just had to wait. But it's not too bad often. There's also these levers. There's all kind of puzzles and traps and all kinds of fun stuff with these, especially later in the game. There's pressure plates and well, I'm not gonna spoil all of them, but there's all kinds of interesting things in this game with those. So right clicking on these allows you to attack and throw that, and it automatically picks it up when you throw it. So it's only one use, so he is not very useful at the moment. You can also hear something moving behind the wall there, and you can always look at the map here, so you can see this is the starting area where we were, and then the tunnel we went through, and there's probably something in there because there's empty space. So you can always take a look at your map and kinda figure out if there is something hidden in here. If you missed something. So there is a pressure plate here and a rock. Let's give it to the mage. So this is a pressure plate. It opens the door there, and then you get off the pressure plate. It closes. So you have to put something on the pressure plate. Let's put the rock in there. More torches. And a key. So there's all kinds of keys for locked doors. There's also sometimes options to open one of the doors out of 3. So you have to carefully use the keys as well, because you cannot get everything. More rocks. I'm almost tempted to actually go and pick up the rock. And I'm gonna drop down a torch here. And I'm gonna give those rocks to the rogue, so he can throw the rocks around. Because only one... I'm actually lost now. Only one shuriken is not gonna make a big difference. So at least he has rocks to throw around. Let's go see. That's the key there. You can also do like sideways movement like this, so you don't have to turn always where you are facing. And it actually helps quite a lot in some places. Like there's timed puzzles where you really need to just know where you're moving and don't waste time on turning. Some of them are actually quite time sensitive. Another key needed there. Here's some text on the wall. Loose rock. So this is basically where they tell you about secrets. And there's the loose rock. You click on that. Wall opens. Sometimes these have enemies and traps, so there's the key. The door. There. So you have to be careful when opening those. Sometimes like a whole... in a room like a whole wall opens and a ton of enemies spawns there. So there's our first enemy. I'll show you. So they move around at you and you have to click on these. And if you stay in place for too long, they will attack you, and you don't really want to get attacked, especially not now when you have like no gear, no armor, no nothing. So let's throw some rocks at it. Also, you can use spells, but in this game you don't actually start with any... well, you start with every spell in the game, but you don't know how to do them. So you need to find scrolls to know how to perform the spell. Unless you have played the game before, or if you want to just experiment with the spell thing. I can show you how that works. Let's run away from that snail in here. So you right click on the open hand on a mage, and you can use these buttons here to cast spells. And you have to know the combinations to do actually any spells. Which magic did I choose for you? Fire magic. So fire magic's I think this was the fire magic spell here, so you just click on that and then you click on this to cast spell, and there you go. You found a fire burst spell. So you can experiment that with that. Like there is not skilled enough to successfully cast a spell, and there is different combinations, like this is a spell. So you can try them out, but you don't know which skill you need to do them. Personally I went mostly without using that. And I just waited for scrolls to arrive, except in case where I started to notice patterns. Like there is 4 types: air, fire, earth, and ice. And like the bolt spell for all of them, or the burst spell, is pretty much the same. So it was quite easy to figure those out just by looking at them. So there's another torch here and some leather boots. Let's give the boots to this guy, and there is leather pants as well. You get the pants, and there's a knife for you, so you can go stabby stabby. It's not his really sword weapon which he was skilled in, so but it's something. There's throwing knife there. Grab that. Another snail. Let's throw that at the face. Let's use the fire spell. Throw the rock. So you kinda have to kite them around like this. Especially in a big room like this, you can quite well kite them around when there is only one monster. Let me get the snail here. So this is how you usually fight. You just kind of have to hit them once and then wait for them to move. These snails are extremely slow, so they're fairly easy enemies, but you kind of have to do this and not get hit. You can also backstab them. There is rogue skills for backstabbing especially, which allows you to just poke them from behind a bit. Also, using ranged spells and attacks is very good idea. Let's see, what do we have here? Another key slot there. There's a pullable thing there. Let's see, here's some more rocks, some food. The Minotaur must be hungry, so let's feed him. You get an icon showing when you are starving, when you don't have any food anymore. To close the pit, something needs to fly. So there's always these tips here. You can also jump down. Let's jump down. Just to show you. Jumping into the holes is actually a good idea, often. There is secrets down in the holes. You can't fly, but can. So, and you get usually a teleporter or stairs out of there, but you have to be careful with some of them. So usually it's a good idea to save before jumping into a pit. You don't know where it goes, but going into this is very good idea. So let's throw the rock there, and the pressure plate opens, and we can put the key there. I'm gonna actually take the rock with me. No, actually, I'm gonna leave it there, and I'm only gonna use one, not all of the three. So we have the key now to this door. We'll also have this other area here. I'm gonna open the door anyways. So is there a statue there, or some face? And let's see where this tunnel goes first. So there's some baked maggots, some rocks, some sandals. Let's get to the mage, and loincloth mage. Also, if you miss some of the secrets, it's not really vital. You can miss out on a lot of things. Say the heal my scythe, so you need to put something into the eye sockets there. But it helps a lot if you explore all the levels fully and find all the gear upgrades and everything you can find. Let's see what's in here. Some mushroom dudes. These actually like fire quite well. There we go, one down. Oops. These are not the ones that spit the poison, I think. Come on. There we go, all the garbage back. There's even more. Let me show you a fireball spell. Oh, no, not skill enough. Well, let me not show you fireball. So this is a crap situation where I am now, because I'm in a corner with two enemies, and I'm facing in a way where I don't know where I'm going actually. So this is a bad situation. You don't want to be in this situation ever, where you don't know where you're going and you're backed against the wall with multiple enemies, and now you are in a corner as well. So we may lose a guy here. Death is not permanent in this game. That's something I should mention. You can resurrect your guys, so don't be worried if you lose a guy. But it's always a bad situation when you lose a guy, because you never know. Well, usually don't know when the next chance for resurrection is. There is crystals in this game, which are in a fixed locations, which you can go click, and it fully heals your party and resurrects everyone who has died. So just keep those in mind where they are, and you can go and resurrect. So there's a flower there, a lever. You can see that my torch is starting to die off as the light is flickering. Also, we are kind of wounded, so you can rest in this game as well. So pressing R makes you sleep, which allows you to quickly regenerate. It will burn off some of your food doing this, but it also is a good way to get rid of poisons, diseases. Just wait for them to go away. Also, sleeping in certain locations can be interesting. I'm not gonna tell you what it does, but keep sleeping. So here is a blue gem That's for the eye. And there is another one somewhere in there, here very likely, because it's an unexplored area. There's a mushroom there. So some of these are potion materials. I don't have the thing to make potions yet, or even empty potions, but like this tar bead, you can make potions out of them. So there's kind of crafting in the game as well. There's no skill for it, you only need to know what to combine with to make them. So here's a lever in there. And this is one of the really fun places where you can use use these traps to your advantage. So that snail is coming there. Are you? Let's throw a rock there. Open that. Here's Snaily. Come on. Let me show you this. So you can open the thing there and drop them down. To make the snails drop down a level. They will not die from this though, so be careful with this. Because you will have to fight them when you go down there yourself. But this is a nice way to get rid of the snails in there. I'll kill this one. If I can actually hit the snail. Also, if you jump into the hole and there is an enemy below you, or if you teleport in somewhere, there is a teleport in the game by the way, you can telefrag them if you know the term. So basically, you jump on them or teleport where they are, and they instantly will die. So here's a scroll. This would have told you how to do the fire burst, which I'm doing already. So requires fire magic 2, and you do the corner and press them casting. So there's that. And you find these scrolls throughout the game, and you really have to pay attention where they are, or you are gonna miss out on spells and how to do them. I think I just locked myself here. And this is one of the situations where you feel like, oh shit, I'm trapped here and I cannot get out. And then it's time to look at the walls, and here's a button that opens the thing. And if you actually remove that, it's a bad idea. Yeah, let's get all of those. So now I have both the eyes, and I could jump down to find the snails, which I'm not gonna do. So I'm gonna go here and get this guy. There's eye, and there's another eye, and there's a skeleton guard. So far, we have only seen one enemy in a tile, but they can also move in parties of 4, and these guys usually have a party of 4 when they run around. I'm doing so much damage with my guys on this. I'm missing. Thank God for the spellcaster. This is one of the first enemies where you actually have to jump around. These also always drop you shields, which is nice, and also a spear. Spear can be used as a back row weapon, so it's a really good weapon for a rogue. If he's in a back row before you get any proper range weapons, like a bow and arrows. For now, he'll throw rocks and poke with the spear. So here's one of these iron doors. I think these were called iron doors. Let me see. Here's a scroll. So with these scrolls, they're a bit different from the other scrolls. This is like a orangish color, and these are more brown. These scrolls are always tips and lore of the game. So this one tells you about the doors of iron that are basically caches of a treasure in every level. Well, most levels. And usually need to do something special to open them, or some kind of puzzle, or well, in general, something special that's kinda harder than everything else in the level. So this one, to gain access, you look carefully for small details and use your wits. So I can return this. I actually like to put everything on the floor, which I don't need, because if there's something here, I know I haven't touched it, but if it's on the floor, I know it's something else. So I saw this button here. It does not nothing, but I'm sure there's another one. So there's another one there that opens this one. And here is Whitewood Staff. So a caster staff requires 1 spellcraft, so that's why we wanted to get spellcraft skill, because mage items require that. Same with these, they require a certain skill to use. This level 1, well, not level 1, but these early weapons don't really need anything, but later weapons may need quite high skills to use. So this one gives you more energy, so more spell points. And there's another scroll here. You're my scroll carrier for now. This magical stuff is a powerful weapon when wielded by a potent mage. Yes. And put it there. And here's the crystal I mentioned. So you find these every now and then on the dungeon. I like to mark them, so you can click on the map there and type what's in there. So you can put some notes in here. So for example, there is a crystal now. And clicking on this saves your game. You can also save the game wherever you want. And you can also press F5 for a quick save. And it also heals and resurrects everyone. It goes dark, so it cannot be used again, even if you click again, but it comes back after a time. So, touch to regain health and restore life. There we go. Go throw that away. Another scroll, poison cloud. We cannot do that yet, because we don't have anyone with earth. So this was the first level of the game. And you find these stairs down and up as well. So sometimes you go up, and sometimes you go down into other levels. So here's the next level. And I think I will stop here for now. I think this is enough. Whoop. Go back. So I highly recommend this game if you like really good dungeon crawler games, and in general RPGs. It may feel strange doing this movement at first, but you'll quickly get into the game, and also the puzzles are superb and really fun, especially when you go down to later levels. They are really interesting. Also the story is quite interesting, and it slowly unfolds when you go deeper and deeper. And also, if you like this game, you might want to take a look at the Legend of Grimrock 2, which was released to this year. It is basically the same game, just much more bigger and massive. Basically, it has an open world type of thing going on, plus small dungeons, which are almost the same size of this dungeon sometimes, and it's basically in every way better than this game. But I highly recommend playing through this first and then going for the second one, and you can get a lot of hours out of this as well. There is also a kind of challenge mode on this one, so if you play through the game and do certain things, you can unlock a special character where you can do one-man playthroughs. He's quite powerful and quite fun to play with. So even if you play the game once, there is always that another mode to play with again as well. But anyways, this has been a quick look for this Legend of Grimrock from Almost Human, a Finnish game developer, and I'll see you guys on the next quick look video. See ya!